Back to another album review. Today's review is on Dictator by Scars on Broadway. This is the second album by Scars on Broadway and is a follow-up to their debut album, which I talked about in the previous review. Darren Malakian produced the album by himself. The album was recorded and mixed by Ryan Williams at Pulse Studios in Los Angeles. I mentioned that Darren had help from John Dolmayan when recording the band's debut album. This time around, Darren did all the instrumentals by himself. And I gotta give him respect for that, because that shows just how committed he is to making new music. Recording took place over the course of just 10 days. The artwork is done by Vartan Malakian, who just happens to be Darren's father. I think it did a great job. Vartan also did the artwork for Scars on Broadway's debut album, as well as Mesmerize and Hypnotize by System Up and Down. This album was recorded in 2012, but was shelved for 6 years because Darren was anticipating a new System Up and Down album, which never came through. He made the decision to release this album on his own record label called Scar for Life on July 20th, 2018. I think it's for the best that he decided to release the album independently rather than go back to Interscope Records. Because of the shady shit that Interscope has done over the years. I read on Metal Injection that Darren said that Dictator could have been another System Up and Down album, but his bandmates couldn't agree on the musical direction. I'll leave a link to the article in the description. The band was rebranded to Darren Malakian and Scars on Broadway. I'm just going to call them Scars on Broadway for simplicity. One thing that separates this album from its predecessor is that it incorporates elements of punk metal and not just hard rock, experimental rock, and alternative metal. Although Darren did all the instrumentals by himself on this album, he did recruit new members for live shows in 2018. Orbel Babayan on rhythm guitar and backing vocals. Nico Chansinia, I can't pronounce his last name, but he's on bass. And he's also got Roman Lomtats on drums. One thing I forgot to mention is that this album is available on CD, vinyl, digital, and streaming. This album is super easy to find on vinyl and digital, but it was incredibly difficult for me to find on CD. No joke. I spent about 6 months trying to find a copy on CD, and I finally managed to find one on Merch Bar back in November of 2022. And I placed my order and played the waiting game. I'm glad I managed to find a copy. And I feel sorry for people who also struggled to find one on CD. With that out of the way, let's talk about the songs. The intro to this album is Lives, which was released as a single on April 23rd, 2018. After reading the lyrics, I conclude that it's about the Armenian genocide. The line, "You will deny, we will verify," alludes to the fact that the Azerbaijani and Turkish governments constantly deny the Armenian genocide, and that the Armenians will continue to verify that it was, in fact, a genocide. A music video was made, and I'm including a link in the description. Next track is Angry Guru. The lyrics "silence leads to violence" probably has something to do with the fact that Armenian genocide denial, which is a felony in Switzerland. The most recent country to recognize the Armenian genocide is Mexico, and the latest country to deny it is Pakistan. After that is Dictator, which shares the same name as the album, and was released as a single on June 1st, 2018. It appears that this song has to do with the fact that Azerbaijan and Turkey are controlled by fascist dictatorships, and that Azerbaijan keeps antagonizing Armenia and Artsakh. Next up is Fucking Kill. The lyrics include the line, "Let's take drugs and go to war." I read somewhere that soldiers on both sides took meth during World War II. Then again, a lot of the first shooters I've encountered online who reside/originate from Orlando smoke meth all the time. This includes the misogynistic methed up piece of trailer trash that you see in the top right corner. Up next is Guns Are Loaded. which was released as a single on February 20th, 2019. It sounds like the lyrics have something to do with domestic abuse, that the victim has a gun and is willing to defend himself. There is a music video that was made, and I'm including a link in the description. That's followed up by Never Forget. It sounds like this is a breakup song based on the lyrics. You follow it up with Talking Shit. The lyrics seem to be about the listener's friends talking shit while getting high. What comes after that is Till the End. It sounds like the lyrics are about someone wanting their lover to stay with them until the end. What comes next is We Won't Obey. It looks like the lyrics are about the fact that the Armenians will not listen to any of the demands from the Azerbaijanis or the Turks. The following track is Sickening Wars. I think this track has something to do with the various wars between Armenia and Azerbaijan over the past few decades. The Azerbaijanis always start these wars. Second to last track is Gai Mao, My Son. This track is fully instrumental and is a cover of the song by Stamatis Kokatas. Even though I've never heard the original version, I do like this cover. The finale of this album is Assimilate. This is a cover of the song by Skinny Puppy. I'm not overly familiar with Skinny Puppy, but I should probably check out their music at some point. When researching this album, I read that it peaked at number 48 in Austria, number 103 in Belgium, and number 54 in Switzerland. I'm not sure how well it performed in the US, though. This album mostly received positive reviews from critics, since it has a 64 on Metacritic. Now for my thoughts. Personally, I think this album is even better than its predecessor. It's interesting how both albums were released a decade apart from one another. Even though this album was actually recorded in 2012, it was shelved for 6 years before finally being released independently in 2018. Overall, I highly recommend this album. Supposedly, Scars on Broadway have a new album coming soon, and Darren will be working with a full band this time. I'm pretty sure the musicians involved will be the touring musicians, but we'll have to wait and see. Now's the part where I question you. Have you listened to Dictator? If so, what do you think about it? What's your favorite song from it? What are your thoughts on Darren performing all the instrumentals by himself? Do you think this could have worked as a System of a Down album? What are you expecting from Scars on Broadway going forward? Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to press the notification bell to notify future videos. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with another video.